So we're different for a couple of reasons. Number one, we're not Bay Area based, so sorry for that, but we're Austin based. And number two, we don't actually build a product with an LLM, we deliver LLMs. So let me explain. So everybody has a smartphone, I'm sure, except a few strange people that don't believe in them. And those smartphones are all now edge AI devices right now, okay, thanks to new updates from Apple and Google. Now, why are they edge AI devices? Well, they're edge AI devices because they have all the fundamental needs in order to make them an AI device, right? They have these fundamental capabilities. But the smart building, manufacturing, and industrial sectors, they completely don't have these capabilities. And what we do as a company is we bring these capabilities to this market so that they can make these AI capable. I don't really have to explain that these markets want to be AI capable. The numbers prove it to themselves, but there's very significant reasons why this is needed in their market. And furthermore, there's really big growth markets for us as well. We're a horizontal platform, so we're able to operate across this entire horizontal spectrum in terms of just delivering AI models and software capabilities to any kind of device. And so Izuma Networks does a number of things that are really important if you're trying to make an AI edge product. So, for instance, devices sit on the edge of a network, they become disconnected all the time, devices lose battery power, devices have intermittent network connectivity. Now, that's not really a problem most of the time with your smartphone for the main reason of the fact that it has you. How many times do you walk around? You get better connectivity. Some weird bug in iOS, you reboot your phone. Right? You don't have those capabilities at the edge for these guys. Secondly, you've got to be able to you got to have high reliability when you're deploying stuff at the edge. So I want to tell you a little story for a second. Imagine that you have a startup that does gateway technology, and you sell that startup to a huge semiconductor 3 years ago, and then 3 years later, they give you the entire startup back with all of the intellectual property that both you had created and the 100 people at that company had created for the last 7 years. And they gave it back to you with $4.5 million and took nothing out of the cap table. That's what we are. It was a gift. And so we have Johnson Controls and Honeywell as our customers. And so let me talk about our product for a second. So essentially what we do is we make a control plane that is specific to delivering software applications at the edge. And so that control plane is built on Kubernetes. But unlike a lot of products, it is not Kubernetes in terms of putting an entire cluster down at the edge. What it does is it lets each device be a node in a Kubernetes cluster. And if you want to know the details about this, please come by our booth, which we're in the back there in the booth area. But what it does is it saves you a ton of memory and a ton of configuration hassles, and a ton of CPU usage when you're actually trying to deploy stuff at the edge. And it still allows you to use standard Kubernetes APIs. And if you're also combining that with a microcontroller product, we have microcontroller-capable firmware as well, so you can deploy both a firmware piece for a microcontroller, and you can deploy applications using Kubernetes at the edge. So don't take our word for it. Here's some quotes from some of our customers. Johnson Controls and Honeywell. Rapid, very interesting little company. They build some connected devices in the UK that essentially allow you to go around and do farm work. They're push devices. The devices, the companies that we can work with can be very broad, right? Because it's a horizontal platform. A little bit about pipeline. We have some really cool stuff in the pipe. We're beginning to have a lot of interest from customers in the smart driving, connected vehicle space. A number of these companies have been trying to use K3S. I'm assuming a lot of people know what K3S is. They've been trying to use, it's like a mini version of Kubernetes. They've been trying to use K3S like inside of a vehicle. They're finding it very difficult to scale. They're finding it very difficult to be reliable. And so we have our stuff in the R&D lab at Subaru, stuff in the R&D lab at Toyota, at Denso. And then we have some really other interesting things going on at DFW Airport, where they're going to be using our stuff inside their conveyor belts and baggage handling systems. So how do we get to hyperscale growth? I think that was somebody kept asking that question. The answer for us is we need to be a product-led product-led growth. We got to get to where you can really use our product very easily. And in our current situation, because we kind of broke away from ARM, we've got to figure this out. And so that's where a lot of our funding is going to go. Very proud of our team. Travis and myself are the founders. Got a little bit of a mess up here, but we have a great board of advisors that we're super proud of. Glad to have them on board. People from all different aspects of the space, whether that be cloud computing, capabilities in federal services, which we think there's a big market there, as well as in hard engineering. Okay. Oh, and in terms of funding, what we're seeking is somewhere between $4 to $8 million in funding. We've for the last 2 years, we had to go from a place where we were breaking away from our previous owners and separating out into a new business model. And so now we're finally at a growth stage where we're ready for a seed round. Thank you.